So, what is the best topping on a pizza in your opinion?
Like, when I saw that question, I was like, sure, I already know where I'm going with that interview. So I'm a good Frenchman, if you didn't notice. So I'm a fan of cheese. And even like it's a topping full of fat, I'd say cream and 4 to 5 different kind of cheese. That's like my best top, but I'm not taking that often because yes, I become way too fat. And I can like add anything related to ham. Actually, everything that's meat or ham actually will be a bonus for me, like adding fat to fat. And like that's how I've been educated with the foods, like dry sausage and cheese. Like that's just all I need to survive actually. So yeah, I don't need more to be happy. And I'm also fighting for peace, because for me it's okay to have ananas, pineapples on pizza, because like even if I'm not enjoying it, I can just leave people alone, and like as long as they enjoy it without bothering me, it's okay. Just take your pineapples, but not on mine.
If you could live in one place from any game, where would it be and why?
That's a really cool question, because there is so much different universe in video game that you have to choose one. And so I'll just go with one of my favorite games, who's Xenoblade Chronicles, and I'd say one of the capital of the game called Alchemos. Like that's a huge capital flying above a sea, and like there's a lot of political conflicts, but I don't care about this. That's a really beautiful place where like technology is just insane with teleport and stuff, and like the landscapes are just awesome. In that game, the landscape are just awesome, and like that's mostly why I would set up overall onto that universe. Like if I just can live in one of these places, I just would go everywhere, like every time. I just changing the landscape, and I just having some calm, some music, like just insane. And if you don't know the game, just try to see some pictures, like on Google Image or whatever. Like just try, because that's a beautiful game, and these are just beautiful landscapes.
If you could only play one Valorant hero for the rest of the time you play the game, who would you want it to be?
I hesitated on this one. On 2 characters. Just so you know, I'm not a big Valorant player. I'm mostly attracted by the strategy and how you can play with these characters together. But if I have to play just one, I'd hesitate between Viper, who's one of the first characters I liked when I played the beta, when it just came out, and Yoru, who just came out recently, like who embodies a lot of things from my coaching. So like you can do a lot of things that I really enjoy, even if I don't play the character that much. But I definitively say Viper, because I like the control she can have on the map, like the amount of side block and to stop rushing potential. So yeah, that's kind of how I would define my gameplay, my playstyle on that game.
What map would you most like to be on during the zombie apocalypse?
I won't say that I twisted your question, but I'd have 2 answers, because I was like an Overwatch coach, right? So when you talked about a zombie apocalypse, I first saw Valorant, and I was like, yeah, I got an answer, but I also got an answer for Overwatch, so I'll just say both. If it was on Valorant, I would say Icebox, and that's probably the first time I'd like to be on that map, to be honest. But because of the amount of high spot, like you can get a lot of covers and reduce the amount of angles where the zombie can come from. And if we were on Overwatch, I'd say Ilios, just because I'm a Lucio man and I'd like to boop the shit out of them, just right into the void. Like that's just my passion, to just bump some zombies on the void.
What games did you play that formed your Valorant background?
Like, I know a lot of people would disagree, but I have some responses to these things. I'd say Overwatch. Like, it's a huge part of my Valorant knowledge, because even if that surprised some people, the notions from Overwatch are kinda the same in Valorant, but in a different level. Because when you just compare the 2 games, they are totally different in their way of playing, but the win conditions and the way to apply a win are kinda similar. Like, there is a lot of notions that are shared by the two games, like space taking, ultimate management, resource management, having a clear objective, how to break a setup, how do you manage to get an advantage, how do you secure that advantage, weapons advantages, reducing the gamble, RNG parts, how to defend, how to get info, noise importance. Like, I can even talk about attention trade, was my little specialty. But like these are things that are common to the both games, but are applied differently and with like a different level of importance, depending on the situation. Because everything applied to both, I can just readjust their importance in my head and say like, yeah, this was important, but maybe not as much as something else. Even if it were on Overwatch, that would be the total opposite.
What was your favorite school subject and why?
I definitively say everything who's math related, because I have a logical mind, and everything that does have a kind of logic is easier for me to learn. I'm really bad at learning things by heart, and I was bad at these subjects like biology, some kind of other science, or just these things that you have to know something, and if you don't know it, like you can't do anything without it. Like these are the basics of the knowledge that you have to get, and you have to just learn them by heart, and I was so bad at these things. I can't just sit down and learn these things. I couldn't. And even now, if I have to learn something that is non-logic related, I'm just fucked. To be honest, I'm fucked. So if I understand the logic behind something, that becomes more clear and I can do it easily.